Keep it up. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's the beginning. What's the next Masechta? We have to hear what the next Masechta is. Keep it up. Invite me again. Mr. Sherman, I know. No, thank you for coming. It's nice to see you. Mr. Sherman, I want to give you a microphone. Whatever he studies is also in your merit. Look, I mean, both of Grace Rose and his son. That's good. He doesn't like it. No, he can't. I'll show you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I didn't think I'd make it through. I never doubt for a second. I guess it was just me then. Thank you so much. Really an honor of Rabbi Baron.
Glad I could be a small part.
More than a small part. But,
well, you were good.
Thank you. Make sure to say that S where you pointed out to me. I didn't forget. I said that one I'm not messing up.
You got out of the college.
Yeah, very nice. I worked. I tried to keep it to a minimum. The Hebrew. You know what's funny is the
First, does it sound familiar? 773-539-4241. That's my first phone number. It's not that I call him so often, but whenever I call him, he's busy. So every time I want to call him, I have to try about 10 times. Because his phone is always busy. From all over the country, they're calling him with Shilas. And it's a big honor for us to have Rabbi First here to say. And we want to be mechaber to say a few words. L'kovid, the Chasanim.
Yichus Mazel Tov, my dear friend Igor. This is a big milestone in his life to finish the first Masechta. The Baruch Shem shall help. There's only a beginning. We should finish many more Masechtas. We should share together many more Simchas. Amen. Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, Chavivim Yisrael, shenitin lahem kli chemda. Yisrael HaChaviv, to Rebbeinu Shalom, shenitin kli chemda, to give them the Holy Torah. Chi b'seir nedas lahem, shenitin like kli chemda. So I once saw a word from Rav Kreisworth. He asked the Kasha, what does the Mishnah have to repeat itself? Chavivim Yisrael, shenitin l'chemda, then chi b'seir nedas lahem, shenitin l'chemda. Repeat itself again. He said this Kasha bothered him for many years, until a story happened. Before the war, in 1940, when the clouds over Europe, the Nazis came to power, and people didn't know what's going to be tomorrow. And they already saw Hitler, Yimach Shemoy, was on his way to trying to destroy Klal Yisrael. So Yid came over to Rav Kreisworth and told him, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this, you're going to make it through this, we don't know. But I have a large sum of money. I want to put it into a Swiss bank. I'll have my name and your name on it. If for some reason I don't survive this war, you might survive. And there might be some of my children will survive the war also. I want to put this amount of money in a Swiss bank, and we'll both be apotropos on this money. Put it in a Swiss bank. The war came. Chaim Kreisworth made it through, Benissim. But this person who gave the money, after the war he found out he was killed and his whole family was killed. He couldn't check out, but all the children were alive and not alive. So he kept the money in the account there, trying to find out if there was any survivor from the family. 25 years later, he was going on a bus in New York, and he's sitting next to a Yid. And Yid tells him that he went through the Milchama, he lost his whole family, he had no college education, he didn't know the language of the country, he couldn't make it in America, he became a shamash in a shul. He's married, he has children, he's not making ends meet. He asked him, by the way, what's your name? So he told him his name. He says, this person in Europe, who happened to know, is there any family of yours? He said, yes, it's my father. Wow. Where's his father? He says, I'm looking for a survivor from the war. Are you the only survivor? He says, I'm the only survivor from the family. So he started telling him about the bank account in Switzerland. He says, here's all the information. Go to Switzerland, pick up your money. He says, I can't afford a ticket even to Switzerland. He said, I'll lend you the money. When you get the money, you'll pay me back. He went to Switzerland, and at that time it was 1965. It was $750,000. That was with interest and so on. So Chaim Kaiser asked, these 25 years, was he a poor person or a rich person? This shamash of the shul, was it considered poor or rich? He considered himself poor, but in reality he was rich. He says, now I understand Pshat in the Mishnah, he said. Chaviv misor shenitan l'chemda. However, chibi yiseya, nedas lahem, shenitan l'chemda. Once you find out about what the Torah is about, then you feel even more of a chavivus to it. Igor, you've came home. Your great-grandfather, Darius beforehand, Shemet Torah mitzvahs, somewhat Talmid Chachamim. You've come home. And a few words to your father. There can be no beautiful present that a son can give than to finish Masechta in your honor. I hope you appreciate that. And you should see only nachas from him. And you should only share together in simchas together with Igor.
Amen. That's a beautiful message. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. From my heart, thank you.
Not enough speeches yet, so I'm going to come in again. I'll keep it short and sweet, I hope. First order of business is to thank everybody who's learned with me and brought me to this point. I can't list everybody by name in a short amount of time, but my gratitude is immense. I'll never forget everything everybody's done for me to bring me here. Special thank you to our Sameach, to Rabbi Rakowski, Rabbi Braun for designing a curriculum specifically designed for me and for my restrictions that I came in here with. Set such a beautiful goal for me to finish a mechsakta that certainly kept me driven and motivated and pushed me all the way through. And in terms of Maseches Makkos, my gratitude to Rabbi Bear and Rabbi Spurka cannot put into words. How they got me here, and through a language I did not understand when I came, still working on it. But without such wonderful teachers, I could never have been here. But most of all, I stand here today because I wish to thank and honor my father for everything that he has done for me. But the idea of learning and the value of reading, my father instilled in me. I remember from my earliest childhood, my father always taught me the importance of reading. Anything he could and anything he could do to get me to read, he did. And sometimes he was tough with me, sometimes he was kind about it, but always reading. Reading was important, paramount, to get an education, to learn, and to work hard and to make something of yourself. But he didn't teach me just with his words. He taught me more with his actions. My father is a very well-educated man and got an education in the most difficult of circumstances. As a Jew in Russia during the war, post-war Russia, communist Russia. Through his achievements, through his hard work, through the sacrifices that he made to come to America, and to work as hard as he did, showed an example that a child can never forget. A person's words, when combined with action, a child has the perception to keep that value forever. It's what drove me to go to university. It's what drove me to learn here and now, and to do the best that I can do to make my father proud. And I always remember how my father honored his parents. Stories I could tell are incredible, maybe for another time. But the way my father honored his parents was sight to behold. My father made sure that I knew my grandparents very well. And he always reminded me, you have one grandmother, you have one grandfather. Don't lose this opportunity. And every week we came multiple times to visit them. And he put such importance on them and on visiting them, on being with them. When the time came to feed them and to clothe them and to take care of them. Everything and anything for them. Anything they asked of him, he would do. I never heard a no from him to his parents. It was a beautiful thing to behold, and even as a child, there was a sense that, yes, this is correct, even if I didn't always adopt it into my own behavior. But today is the time to honor my father, to recognize that he honored his parents, and to honor the idea that the education, learning, was a value my father instilled in me. No one could have made me come here without that value having been placed from the beginning, from its roots. And for this, I am eternally grateful, because the fulfillment that I have achieved, that I have gotten from my learning here is immense. And as many have said this evening, let it be the first of many. Happy birthday to my father. Thank you again, and thank you for being here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
It is difficult to explain my gratitude to all this wonderful honor society, and to my son, the gratitude in what environment I occur right now. With my not very excellent language, English,